Hello and welcome back to the another episode of the Hindu News Analysis. Well, it is 7th July today, and in this video we are going to discuss some important articles which could be very much relevant for your preparation. You know, whenever you read newspapers, there is one thing you would find in common, that there are many articles which get repeated. Many articles because the story is developing. So in today's discussion we had brought some articles which we had already discussed, but the point why we brought them today is that to give you the final understanding of those articles, so that from today onwards, if they will get repeated, we will not bring them here. And second thing, there was nothing that important in today's newspaper that was more relevant to your preparation as these articles are. So without any delay, let's start our discussion with the first article, which is the new battle challenge of China-Pakistan collusion. So what is this article about? Post Operation Sindoor, or we can say post during Operation Sindoor or before Operation Sindoor, the things were very much different for both India and Pakistan. How Pakistan was perceived by the world, it was totally different, which was bound in its own tensions, which had huge problems, which was supposed to be the terrorist state, which was supposed to be the most imbalanced state. But at the same time, when there was situations happening between India and Pakistan, when there was the terror attack in Pahalgam, and how we retaliated, it put a huge impression on India-Pakistan relationship, and also it gave us the huge understanding of how the wars would be fought in the future. So this is the comprehensive analysis of all what happened during the during Operation Sindoor, and what India should opt for if any such operations will happen, if any such battle will happen, what we should be ready for. So this is the proper understanding of that. Prior to Operation Sindoor, India always thought that if ever we would go in the war front with India, with Pakistan or China, we always prepared for the worst. And what was the worst? Before Operation Sindoor, the worst was two-front war. Two-front war. It was assumed that the worst it can go to, that we would be fighting on two sides, in the west against Pakistan and in the northeast against China. So at the both ends we will be fighting war simultaneously. It was the proper understanding, and for few others it was 2.5 or we can say 2.5 operation front, that on one side it would be China, on other side it would be Pakistan, and on the third front, or we can say half front, it would be the Pakistani led proxies. So this was the understanding before Operation Sindoor. But how it changed, how this understanding changed, to it, we have to refer the statement given by the army chief recently, that how China was effectively contributing to this war, how China was effectively the member of this war, even though they did not physically entered into the war, but at the virtual spectrum, at the cyber spectrum, and giving the live locations of Indian troops, live locations of what India is doing to Pakistan. So in this way, China was totally at the front. It is termed as the new one front reinforced warfare by China. New one front reinforced warfare by China. What is it? It is something different. In it would be China will not physically enter into the war, but what they will do, they will support the Pakistan through their military, through their arsenals, through their technology, through at the cyberspace, everywhere. They will support Pakistan, they will give them the live locations, and at the same time they will not enter into the war on the another front. And this is the new understanding what is going to happen in the future. So this is what against we have to prepare. Now let's analyze how we reached to this, how we reached to this new term called the new one front reinforcement, reinforced by China, new one front war reinforced by China. Let's try to understand that, how we reached to this point. We saw that Pakistan, what is the understanding of Pakistan for everybody? A kind of a failed state who is involved in economic crisis. The state which does not have any stability, neither political, neither economic, neither social stability. So what made such nation, which is small, which is very, very small than India, which is even smaller than UP, what made such state to cause damage to our airplanes, to cause damage to our jets when this war was happening, when this Operation Sindoor was ongoing. Today it is the very well accepted reality that even though we achieved our targets, what was the aim of Operation Sindoor, we achieved everything, but still Pakistan was able to damage our air superiority. So what was the reason for that? Not only the air superiority, but also at the diplomatic level they had gained this edge. So what was the reason for that? Was Pakistan itself capable of it? The answer to it is big no. Because if we will see what were the arsenals used by Pakistan, for example, they used J-10s, they used other arsenals from China, which were very much helpful for them in getting the real in getting the in tracking the Indian air defense. For example, they use HQ9 in which for their air defense system, which they had procured from China. So in this way, it is said that approximately 84% of Pakistani arsenals are from China. Not only that, but at the informational race, they were given the live information about the Indian space spectrum. They were given there was a war on the cyber spectrum where China contributed to Pakistan. So at every end there was China was supporting Pakistan. So this is the understanding which has developed now, that Pakistan itself would have not been capable of achieving this, because their superiority is not at that level, but it is the support of China, and how China is perceiving India, and how China is supporting Pakistan in all these war fronts. Now it is turning out that we should shift our approach from the two front warfare to the new one front reinforced warfare, which is the China would totally support Pakistan in any conflict, if ever there would be, between India and Pakistan. So this is in a nutshell the idea of this article. And this article also highlights, it is not only what happened in the war field. After that, what happened, how the Chinese media, how the Chinese officials, they accepted the Pakistani narrative, and they propagated the Pakistani propaganda to the world. They, through their soft power, how they in a way led world believe the lies what Pakistan spread. So this is the major issue what India has to tackle in the near future. What we have, our strategies should be different. The nature of the war from the Pakistani side is same, that it would be fought between the two nations, either through by air, or by the means of armies, or by other means through rockets and all that stuff. But through China, with respect to China, the nature and the characteristics of this warfare has totally changed. It has shifted from in the earlier times, there used to be in 1960s when we fought with China first time, there was the direct front, there was a direct war between India and China, but it has changed now totally. China is not going to risk that now. What they are going to do, they are going to support Pakistan through its proxies. They are going to support Pakistan. They will give direct support to them. They will share intelligence with them. They will share their real-time locations with them, so that in this way they can try to deter India. So this is how it has changed. The nature and the characteristics of the war with China has changed, but with Pakistan it is same. But with Pakistan it has evolved to the other levels too. So this is the article, and how China has helped Pakistan in spreading their propaganda. But at the same time, what India should do, what is left with India, what should be the way forward for India. First of all, we should analyze our strategy. We should change our approach what we used to have. Second, we should not always as we saw that after the Pahalgam attack, what is our new normal, that if any terrorist attack happens in India, it would be dealt as, it would be understood that it is the act of war. But according to the article here highlights that these such acts, they are very much they are planned there is a huge planning behind them. And if we look at what happened after Operation Sindoor, it in a way favored Pakistani army, which was very much unpopular in Pakistan, but eventually it favored them. So India should restrain to fall into the hands of the foreign countries, for example China and Pakistan. In this way, we should understand the situation, and we should go for other measures like putting economic pressures and highlighting the issue in the world media, rather than going directly for the conflict. So this is one of the approach which is highlighted here, and if necessary then go for the all-out war. So with this, I hope you had understood the article. It is the repetition of what we had understood from Operation Sindoor till now we had conducted various discussions over this topic. So I hope you had understood it very well. If there would be any doubt, please do write in the comments, so that we can answer to your queries. Now with this, let's move to the another article and let's have a look at it, what it is about. Well, the article is talking about the common good goals. You know what this article is basically about? Recently there is the BRICS summit was in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. So for going in this BRICS summit, there we got few things which can be very much good for India, and few things which are very much alarming towards the BRICS itself. BRICS as an organization, they are very much alarming for itself. Actually I am bringing in two articles in this one article. So what are alarming things? For example, President of Russia, Putin, was not present there. He attended the conference virtually. The reason for that, he is not allowed to enter into Brazil. Why? Because according to International Criminal Court, he has an arrest warrant. If he enters into Brazil being the member of ICC, they have to arrest him. So to avoid these diplomatic issues, he did not attend it in person, but he attended it virtually. The second thing which is alarming for BRICS itself is that the Chinese president, he did not attend it, but his premier members attended it. So this is one of the drawback to it. BRICS, which was seen as the alternative to the G7, and if the biggest economies in the BRICS are not going to attend it, then it definitely questions the stability of BRICS. It questions the what it is about. It questions the ability of the BRICS. So with respect to this, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he visited this. But for this visit, he went through a different route, and this is what article talks about. He visited various global South countries. For example, he visited Ghana, he visited many countries in West Africa, he visited Argentina, and also Brazil. So what does it show? It definitely shows that what is the common goal between these South countries, the global South countries, that how India is trying to pursue to be as the global South, how there are common links between these countries. For example, with respect to Ghana, how our relationship should be, how we are approaching this relationship. So these are few important things which are very much important, which are very much necessary for us to be seen as the global South. So in this way, this article highlights that the visit to the BRICS and to these countries, to the global South countries, it definitely shows that India's approach, how India is to be perceived in the world, that we are the global South. We think of these countries, we are the sole leaders of these countries, and we are here to provide them, we are here to assist them, we are here to share our technologies with these countries. So this is basically about this article. This article basically talks about the India's approach towards the global South. So with this, let's move to the another article. Let's have a look at it. Let's see what it is about. Well, there is another article which we are discussing from last few weeks now. Well, the article is about why are Bihar's electoral rules being revised. So what is this article about? Why are Bihar's electoral rules being revised? So first of all, we should try to understand what does the Constitution say about it. What does the Constitution say about it? Who has the authority to revise these electoral rules? So Constitution is very much clear under Article 324. It is the Election Commission of India who has the authority to revise these electoral rules. And in our previous classes, we discussed that it can be simple revision, it can be intensive revision, and it can be a mix, simple and intensive. The reason for that is because there are many voters whom you have to adjust. Because there are many voters whom you have to adjust into the electoral rolls, who are not enrolled on these electoral rolls, so you have to enroll them. For that, there is definitely the revision needed. Second, there are many people who are there may be many people who are not living right now, who are dead, or who had migrated to other states, who are the permanent settlers of other state now. So you have to emit those people, you have to emit those people. So for that, what were the documents you require to be eligible to be added into the electoral rolls, to be revised? Once this would be done, what are the documents required? For example, your permanent address certificate is required, your birth certificate is required, and all other certificates, citizenship certificate is, domicile certificate is required. If you have these, would be required for you to be enrolled in the electoral rolls. Now with respect to Bihar, if we will see what kind of revision they are going for, is it the simple revision or is it the intensive revision? So it is from 2003, from 2003 it is first time that Bihar is visiting. What it is visiting? It is visiting the extensive revision. It is first time that Bihar is visiting the extensive revision, that is special intensive revision. For the first time the Bihar is visiting special intensive revision. So under this special intensive revision, what is the nutshell? That every citizen of Bihar, every domicile of Bihar, they will have to prove that they are the domicile of Bihar, they are living in Bihar and they are above 18 and they are eligible for the votes. Whether you are living outside, whether you are migrants or whether you are in Bihar, they have to prove it. But the issue here is that the time period given for this exercise, the time period, it is given only 31 days, that it should be completed in 31 days. Why? The reason for that is why it was given only 31 days, because in 2003 when the special intensive revision was done, at that time it was done only in 31 days. But here the criticism is that the population has increased, so why only in 31 days? Here the authorities say that we have adopted to the best technologies right now, so it is very much possible to conduct this exercise in 31 days. So this is the whole confusion over it. And this special intensive exercise, what it does, it will ask for the permanent address of these people, it will ask for the DOBs and other documents, so that they can verify them and they can enroll them as the voters. And the concern is that the time period, which is very low, it may lead to the elimination of many voters from the list, or it may lead to the addition of many many voters who are not belonging to this particular region into the list. So these are various concerns which are raised with respect to this. We had discussed this article many times, and this is the last revision, because here we had brought few new important points. For example, special intensive revision, how it was conducted before 2003 in Bihar. Basically what the Election Commission of India is saying, that it is not specific to Bihar that we are conducting this, but what they are going to do, they will conduct it for the whole India. They are going to conduct this exercise for the whole India. So they are starting with the Bihar, and they are going to what is the purpose of this? They are going to eliminate those who are duplicate voters. They are going to eliminate those voters. They are going to eliminate those voters who are not eligible voters. They are going to eliminate all that stuff. And in this, you should remember that Aadhaar cannot be the source of your citizenship. Aadhaar cannot be the source of your identity. So it is not for you. It is not asked that you have to submit the Aadhaar. And also one more thing you have to mention, you should remember here that those who had been admitted in 2003, they just have to enroll themselves. They just have to fill up the form, and rest for the others, they will have to go through all the process. They will have to fill the form and also submit the documents. And another issue with this is that there would be many civilians, many citizens or many domiciles of that state that who will not have these documents, because as we discussed in a report in one of our discussion, that only 2% of the Bihar's population post 2003 have the birth certificates. So it may cause a huge issue here. It may lead to the many voters not being admitted as the voters. So this is the whole discussion, and this is why the Election Commission of India is bringing it. So with this, I hope you had got the holistic understanding of this article 2. Now with this, let us try to move. Let's see what the another article talks about. Well, this article is about India's diplomacy is measured, not mute. So what is this article about? We are seeing, if we will see the present situation in the world, we are seeing various wars fought on different fronts. For example, if we will see first war between Russia and Ukraine, second war between Israel and Gaza, which even is not war considered by many, and that is a different topic. Third war, Israel and Iran, and recently India Pakistan. Well, we were the party of that, so let's omit that right now. So what is the discussion here? The discussion is how India's approach has been in these conflicts, how India's approach has been in these conflicts, and it is often criticized about India, that India often remains silent when there are such huge decisions to be taken on. For example, with respect to ceasefire, for example, with respect to condemning Russia, for example, with respect to supporting either Iran or Israel. So what we had seen, that India has always remained silent. India will not react to any situations. We will try to remain silent. And what it is labeled, that India is still in that dilemma of non-alignment movement, non-alignment movement. But this article, what it says, this article in a way neglects these claims. And article here says that this is not something which is forced on us, but it is a decision. It is a very well discussed, well intelligent decision which India is making. India is making in such situations, because our approach is based on the multi-alignment, and our approach is based on the strategic autonomy, that whatever is happening in the world, that world should not force us on force us on framing our foreign policies. We have the strategic autonomy with respect to that, and we believe in multi-alignment. We believe in that if at the same time we have good relations with Russia, but at the same time we should be able to talk with USA, we should be able to have a great economic relations with USA, and also with the China, we should be able to have relations with them. And at the Israeli front, even though we support Israel, we get huge defense equipments from Israel, but at the same time we had always remained, till now we had always remained, that there should be the two-state solution to it. Israel should vacate from the places where they had illegally occupied Palestinian areas. Israel should vacate from them, and they should accept the UN's two-nation theory. And with respect to Iran and Israel war, we remained silent, but at the same time we believed in, we are ready to de-escalate. So what is the crux of this article? The crux of this article is actually answering to those who often claim that India is being non-aligned. India is still in the dilemma of non-alignment movement, but the world is changing right now, and India should accept some side. India should be the part of some bloc. And personally, that's what I too believe, that if I would be asked which bloc India should side with, and it is the time for India to shift towards the west, because of even though Russia is our partner, but when it would be the conflict between China and India, we won't see Russia deterring China. So this is one of the issue. This is one of the bottleneck to our relationship with the Russia right now. So it is better for India to look for those allies who are ready to to support you. So this is what I believe. But this article says no, but our foreign policy right now is, that is great, because we are aligning. We believe in multi-alignment. We believe in working with every country equally. We believe in having the equal relationships, even though we have the great relationship with China, with the USA. We also enjoy the great relationship with Russia and other countries which are the part of these conflicts. So that is what India stands for, and here this is what the article supports India's decision, that not making any statement, not giving any decision is itself a decision, that where India stands right now, India is looking for this strategic autonomy. So this is in nutshell the article is talking about. Now with this, let's move to the another article, and let's have a look at it, what this article is about. Well, here is a case has been filed in EU with respect to the Google's new policy, which is Google's AI overview. So what is this? If you would had followed the Google from last few weeks, or from last 1 month, you would have seen a very huge change in Google. What is that? If you want to search anything, what they will do, they will give you the summary of the search through the Google AI. They will give you the summary of the search, and then after reading that summary, after that there would be the pages where from they would have got that summary, or which you are looking for. So how it is impacting the business here? Here are researchers, publishers, or the media outlets. They publish their documents on the Google, for so that people will get access to it, people will read it, and it will increase their revenue. But what is lately happening, that the Google itself is reading those documents, and it is building the summary. Whatever prompt you give to Google, whatever question you ask to Google, Google will make the prompt of it, will make the summary of all those articles which it reads itself. It will form the summary of that, and eventually what people do, they will read that summary first, and they will get satisfied. If you will ask me, I will get satisfied by reading the overview, and I will not shift towards what, I will not go towards the pages. So in this way it halts it. There is the conflict of interest. There is the trust issues with those media companies or with those publishers, that it halts their business. It and also the Google, once they are giving this AI overview, it generates the revenue over it. There are various ads running over it, so that it generates revenue for the Google, not for the pages who had published it, or not from the pages where from it gets the overview of. So this is the case which has been filed in EU, and there would be much discussion over it once this case would be studied. So this is right now, this is the story what has happened until now. So with this, let's move to the another article and see what it is about. Well, this article is about the Suresh Gopi is said to be summoned over the possession of suspected leopard tooth. So what is the issue here? You would have heard about the Wildlife Protection Act. Wildlife Protection Act. And under Wildlife Protection Act, there is Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. So about Schedule 1 animals, you cannot hunt them. After this act came in, you cannot, if you cannot hunt them, you cannot possess their organs as the trophies. And under Schedule 2, there is Schedule 2 Part 2. There is one thing which you should understand, that if under Schedule 2 animals, if Part 2, if any trophy of any organ which has given to which you had achieved through the inheritance. For example, your forefathers had done any. If, for example, your forefathers had done any shooting, or they had done any hunting, and they would had killed any animal, any wild animal, and they had got their organs, and it has shifted the hands through the inheritance, then there is no issue. So with respect to the Schedule 1, you cannot have it. So what is the question here? This Suresh Gopi, it is alleged that he is in his possession there is a leopard tooth, so he would be summoned, and the discussion would take place over this issue. Now the question is, how it is relevant for your preparation because of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. How it certified, it says that you cannot have these organs without any certificate. For example, if anything happened before that, then you should possess the certificate for that. So this would be under question. About here, a question about Wildlife Protection Act can be asked in the prelims exam. About the possession of the organ as the trophy organ, it can be asked in the exam. This is how it is relevant for your preparation. It is also a developing story. Let's see what will happen with respect to it. Now with this, let's move to the last article of today's discussion and see what it is about. Here is a great article which talks about minorities panel without chairperson since April. So what is the article about? well, the article is basically about the National Commission for Minorities. National Commission for Minorities. And what is the issue? Basically this National Commission for Minorities, it will look into the issues of the minorities in the country. So what is the issue with it? Usually it consists of 7 members. How many members? 7 members. Of these 7 members, one would be the chairperson, second would be the vice chairperson, and 5 would be the other members. So why it is in news today? Because these it is first time, it is after 2017, it is again the situation has come where this National Commission for Minorities is without the chairperson and its members. There is no appointment has happened. So in a way it is impacting the authority of the National Commission for Minorities. It is in a way impacting the the position of National Commission for Minorities. About the National Commission for Minorities, we should know that about it, that it was this National Commission for Minorities, it is a quasi-judicial body. It is the quasi-judicial body, and also we should know that It is a statutory body too. So with this, let's see what kind of question can be asked in the exam with respect to this article. Let's have a look at it. Let's see what does the question say. The question says, consider the following statements regarding the National Commission for Minorities in India. First statement, the National Commission for Minorities was established under the National Commission for Minorities Act 1992. Totally incorrect. It was established way back in 1978, but through this act of 1992, it became this. It gave it this statutory status. So first statement is incorrect. Second statement, it has the power to investigate matters relating to safeguards provided for minorities under the Constitution and laws of Parliament. That is true. Nothing wrong with it. Third, the chairperson and members are appointed by the President of India. That is incorrect. They are appointed by the Government of India. So first and third statement is incorrect. So with respect to this question, the only statement is which is correct is option 2, statement 2. So with this, I hope you had understood this article as well as today's discussion. I hope everything is very much clear. If there is any doubt, please do write in the comments. We'll try our best to reach out to you guys and clear that doubt. And please do subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you very much and have a nice day.